I stand here today afraid. Afraid that what I say will be used against me. It might haunt me in the future. It may even lead to legal charges against me. What did I do? Did I break the law? Did I kill people? No. I followed the law. I rescued people. I have a strong belief that people can make a big difference when they make use of their skills. I'm at my best at sea. So in order to try and make a difference, I sailed out to rescue people from drowning. By doing so, I stumbled upon and I crossed a lot of borders. Psychologically, physically, and professionally. My name is Anne Paul, and this is my story. I was born in 1978. I was raised by my single mother, and she tried to teach me right from wrong, and she actually did. She taught me good from right. But growing up in the Western world, I soon realized that it's not always easy to be the good guy, not to be part of the world's problems. I too want my fuel and groceries to be cheap, and I realize that has to come from somewhere. I remember a slogan, "A better environment starts with yourself." And this made me think about my actions. It doesn't always make me change my behavior, but it does make me think. As a child, I loved to travel, so I chose to become a merchant mariner, a sailor. I figured that would be a good way to see the world and make some money at the same time. Working on a ship, I was confronted for the first time with people migrating by sea almost 20 years ago. As an apprentice, I was requested to come to the bridge and keep an extra sharp lookout. We were passing Gibraltar, and there was a high chance of people in small boats trying to cross the strait. And there is a big danger that the vessel would hit them during the dark hours. When a few years ago, I heard that there are still increasing numbers of people dying at sea, I, as a mariner, wanted to try and make a difference, go out to sea and rescue them. Now, I was fully aware that these operations are not going to solve the migration issues in that area of the world. It is pure damage control. I have no idea how to solve the problems that drive these people to leave their homes and their families and undertake such a dangerous journey that so often ends at sea. But I do know that whatever the problem is, whatever the solution is, we should not just let people die. And I hope that you can agree with me on this. Now, in order to better understand my role as a captain, I might need to give you a short crash course on maritime law. In specific, the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS. This convention was created with lessons learned from disasters such as the Titanic. It has been signed by governments throughout the world, including my own government, the Dutch. In short, the SOLAS states, without any room for interpretation, that the captain is responsible for all life at sea. He is obligated to assist people in distress at sea if he is able to do so, regardless of the nationality or the status of these people or the circumstances in which they are found. These regulations meet with my own convictions about us all being responsible for each other and our moral obligation to take care of people in distress and provide them with a safe haven. So inspired by these regulations and looking to contribute to a better world, I chose to join the organization Sea-Watch. On board, we had a varied crew. Doctors, nurses, rescue boat drivers, mechanics, cooks, you name it. And most of them spending the only 3 or 4 weeks of vacation they had on helping other people. That made a big impression on me. 2017 was a difficult year. After the end of Ramadan, a true flood of people tried to leave Libya, and as a result, the ship had to rescue over 2,000 people in about 4 days. Now, I can tell you all about this, but these images, shot by the UK's Channel 4, might give you a better impression of the situation on board.
This is the deck of the Sea-Watch 2, a German charity rescue boat. The capacity of this ship is 150 people. We are currently carrying about 400 souls, mainly from West Africa, that we picked up today. And if you follow me onto the bridge of the ship, you'll get a sense of the scale of this humanitarian crisis. Look at the radar. We've counted about 15 or 16 of those yellow dots. Every one represents a vessel. Some are migrant boats, some are charity boats, some belong to smugglers. And if you come out this direction, you'll get more of a scale. Excuse me, sir. There's people everywhere on the boat. Excuse me. If you look into the distance there, that large blue boat is what they call a double-decker. That's carrying approximately 700 people on 2 different levels. They've just arrived, and earlier in the day we were seeing people jump off those into the water, which is the nightmare scenario for the charities that are here. There are tough questions to answer here. Are these rescue missions part of the smugglers' business model? What of the politics of this? But for one woman, on one boat, the crisis boils down to this. And as the sun sets, if you're the person bailing the water out of the sinking boat, it amounts to "don't let me drown in the dark."
We need help now. We need help now.
At night, the situation becomes critical. Radio messages bristle with panic. Migrant boats are sinking all around us.
These were rough days, but extremely rewarding. The people we managed to help, men, women, children, they were all real. No numbers or images on TV. And to be able to be there and make a difference for them, that gave me a feeling of purpose. I knew then that these days would stay with me for the rest of my life. And I tried to be the best captain I could be. But the political situation was changing. December 2018, we found 32 people adrift more than 25 miles off the Libyan coast. Their boat was sinking, so we took them on board, and we then needed to bring them to a safe port. A safe port, as stated in the SOLAS. The same SOLAS also states that the governments that signed this convention, the contracting governments, need to cooperate in order to provide a safe port to people rescued at sea. But cooperation with the European governments was close to non-existent. Most countries were no longer willing to receive people rescued at sea, and as a result, the vessel was not allowed to enter Malta. This resulted in a standoff that lasted 19 days. I suddenly found myself in an international political storm. During this standoff, the media team and the vessel tried to get media attention in order to inform the European people about our situation and also to push the European governments in order to find a quick solution. The media team on board invited journalists and they contacted news outlets throughout Europe. I too got media attention. It started with my name on the radio, but soon my face was on TV and in the newspapers. And this was difficult for me. I'm not an activist. What I wanted to do was maneuver the vessel, train the crew, and help some people in need. And I now found myself in an international political crisis with a lot of negative response, and even being accused of illegal activities. On the 2nd of January, I first read in the newspaper that my own government was investigating the possibilities to take legal action against us for deliberately supporting human trafficking or even being involved in human trafficking ourselves. I could not believe my eyes. I am bound by law to help these people and bring them to a safe port, as stated in the SOLAS. And by signing this convention, my own government stated they want me to do the same and not bring these people back to Libya. And now they seek to prosecute me for doing exactly this? That hurt. I thought I was doing good. I thought we could all agree we don't just let people die. Isn't that the most important? No one dies? Now, as a captain and as a person, I need to make my decisions based on as much information as possible. We all need to take every argument seriously, and we need to listen to other people. Think about what they tell us and why they are telling us this. It hurt me to hear that my own government was doing this, willing to make it personal, and to hear that colleagues on other ships were actually taken to court. Could it be true? Am I making it worse? Are these people worse off because of me? The European governments seem to be convinced that the rescue ships are a problem and that they need to be stopped. And they can't all be wrong, can they? But what's the alternative? Yelling, these ships are a problem and we need to sink them. That's easy, but it solves nothing. People will keep migrating. They did so long before Sea-Watch came along, and they still do now, whilst the ship is in port. So, why am I here? I decided that for the time being, I will no longer return to the Sea-Watch as a captain. I'm not an activist. I'm not a politician. Europe and the Netherlands need to decide where they stand on this. They need to realize that helping people is not the problem. Not helping people, that's the problem. So I stand here afraid that my own government is going to take legal action against me, afraid of all the hatred directed against me, and worse, my family. But I'm also glad. I'm glad that I can be here and share my story. Because by sharing my story, I hope I can still make a difference. Is sea rescue illegal? Should it be? You know, I would love to live in a world where nobody wants to leave their home and their family in the first place. I know I do not want to live in a world where letting people die is considered to be part of a solution. Thank you.